Welcome, everybody, to another Age of Radio Mercury. I am so excited to be here today. My name is Jeremy Quintanilla. I am the host of Age of Radio Mercury, your home for podcasting and other pop culture news. And I have with me today my amazing co-host, Trey. If you don't know who I am the founder and co-host of Age of Radio Mercury, or host of Age of Radio Mercury. I also have a podcast called Age of Jeremy, and you can check that out everywhere at Age of Jeremy, or watch the Age of Jeremy podcast, which talks about my business adventures and side quests wherever you get your podcast. And I am here, like I said, with my co-host Trey. We are both in Arizona, but we're not in the same room. So Trey, I guess you weren't here last week, and that was a fun shit show because I had no one to talk to. So I tried talking to myself. Did you watch any of that?
I watched the first couple of minutes of that. It was kind of rough, man. I felt
Jesus, my
bad.
gosh, don't hold anything back. Oh my god. My gosh, Trey just went hardcore and was like, it was okay. Well, what was rough? Was it rough just because I was just jabbering on about stuff and talking to myself?
Just, yeah, like it wasn't bad. It was just, I think he had a hard time
Yeah,
filling the void.
yeah, one of the hard things about having a show when you're talking, if you don't have like when I'm doing my podcast, I have talking points. I'm kind of just talking to, the audience. This show, I'm used to talking to someone. So I was kind of like, okay, well, this is what's going on with this. I'll share my thoughts on it, and then I guess just move on. Where if I had, even if I didn't have someone here, or if Dustin maybe was running in the background, I could have had a conversation with Dustin about something. Like even if he was off air, and having that conversation to add some of I don't know, some other banter with, or some type of information. But it's always hard doing it by yourself because you're just kind of talking to nothing. And if you don't have anybody in the comment section talking, then it even gets more difficult. But I'm glad you're back. I know you're still in Arizona. We hung out last night. How has your trip in Arizona been thus far? Have you been enjoying yourself? Have you done anything fun?
It's been enjoyable. Last night was definitely fun. Um, I don't know about I'm not a fun person. Going out and doing bar stuff like that stuff has never really been my forte. So it's been very quiet, but also very relaxing. It's been a very relaxing trip.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Last night was pretty fun. We went to a sports bar. Neither of us drink or watch sports, but the food was amazing. We went to Augie's. We had buffalo chicken. We had pretzels. We had chips and salsa. And then we went to a park and played on the playground like we're 5 years old. And I'm in my 40s and you're in your 30s. One thing that I did find funny, I posted that, and William, do you remember William, who used to watch us on Instagram, and we would bring him up from the podcast, from the Creators Outlet podcast?
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. He made a comment, I think it was on Facebook, because, he's old and he does stuff on Facebook. I'm just kidding. There's nothing wrong with Facebook. And he made a comment. He said, "Oh, it looks like Trey got out of his grandma's basement." But what was funny about that comment was, a lot of people don't know that you own the house, it's your house. And I
Yeah.
think that's always funny because it made it seem like you're someone that's just living still at home with your grandmother, but you have that. I just thought it was interesting, and funny, people's perceptions of certain things. And he was just making a joke. But
Yeah.
well, I'm glad that you're back. I'm excited to get started. We have a great show today. We're going to talk about the nominees for the Game Awards, or what I like to call the trailers of the year. The Game Awards is going to be December 11th. It looks like they're streaming it on Prime Video, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. We're going to talk about a podcast company actually went on the public market in their home country. I think that's exciting. One of the things I also found exciting about what we're going to talk about today is audio is still the number one form of podcasting. We're going to talk probably a lot about that, because that's one of the things that angers me about podcasting in general, is the fact that, is it video or is it audio, and what's the best medium for it? We're also going to talk a little bit about some new anime that's going to be coming out, the Apothecary Diaries Season 3, and some other game. Actually, you know what? I just realized I don't think all of my. Oh, you know what? I don't have all of the. I don't have all of the news articles up here. Give me 1 second.
No
We had to
worries.
switch over to Google, so I was really excited about that. And now, and by Google I mean Chrome. And that's an old one. So let's get rid of this one. Give me 1 second, Trey. Sorry. That might have ruined the whole thing. I might have just ruined the entire show. So I'm really excited about that. That I can't find breaking podcasting resources, gaming, pod news, breaking. Yeah, I just deleted. Oh, we'll figure it out as the shows always go. There's always problems with them as we're doing this. But let us know in the comments what your favorite podcasts are, so we can get some more podcast recommendations to people. And we're going to kick this off with some AI slop. We love talking about AI, but then we took a digression from AI because maybe we felt that we were talking about it too much, but it's all the talk of the town. And so I have set up my Sora on my iPad. I have not made any slop with it because for some reason it's not able to create me as a character, and I haven't tried to figure out exactly what's causing that. But Trey, you made some AI slop of yourself, and you made some AI slop of your dog. So I queue up. I have the one where your dog's getting the treats thrown at it, and then somehow the cat gets a hold of the treat. So to preface this before we talk about this, these aren't real people. This is just characters of your dog. How did you make this? Like, what happened? Like, it's you. It's really your dog. It's really your cat. You made characters of them, and then you made them into slop. So walk me through that process and what you did.
Okay, so it's a new feature, and so it's actually been around for a couple of weeks now. But what it is, it's character cameos. So what you do is you feed it a video of your pet, and then it looks at that video and creates a overview of what your pet looks like and what its like movements are like, and all of the mouth movements and stuff like that. And then it will create a profile for them. So if you look at some, like if you saw these videos that I sent you on Sora, it has
Yep.
my username. It has my user profile photo. Then it also has Ranger, who's my dog, and Sassy, who's my cat's profile photos on
And
it.
based off of this AI that you made, that is a fair assessment name for your cat. That it is Sassy. Because
Yes.
did you say the cat's name is Sassy?
The cat's name is actually Sassy. The AI gives them completely different names. Uh, One of them, just funny story. My dog, my poor dog, who has one eye, the AI named him. The AI named him Blink.
That's really funny. Okay, so I'm going to show this. We're going to show this. This is fake. This is AI slop. We're going to have a conversation about this. So the first one. And send us your AI slop. Send me as much AI slop. If you're on Sora, if you do Meta Vibe, send me AI slop. We want to play it. I want to have as much AI slop as I possibly can. But this is what we're doing with AI now, instead of improving the world. Oh, I'm gonna play it again. I want to play it again. And that cat is super sassy for being a. It's definitely a sassy cat. All right, so it's shooting the food. The dog's chasing it. The cat sees it. It blocks it. The dog comes and I guess grabs the food and moves the cat's paw. Is that essentially
Yeah.
what's happening?
So the machine kind of fires randomly, and what I put into the prompt is one of the, because that can happen. It just kind of pops on their head. So one of the treats lands on Sassy's head. She bats it away, and it did the thing, and then it added Ranger taking it from her.
Now, Trey, is there a way that you can get rid of the watermark on these? Like, for example, it says Sora at Creator Trey. Are you able
You
to remove the watermark?
There are various ways to do that. Some people will crop in, some people will use other stuff. I recommend you don't, though, because it's really good to have that kind of clarity.
Yeah, so there's not something that's inside of Sora or OpenAI that allows you to remove it. Like their I guess as of right now, they want it to be on there so people know that it's actually artificial intelligence, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No way inside of Thor there are other tools, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I have one other one. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this one, and then I want you to walk me through why you made this one, what's happening in it, how fun you did, and it's the one where you're sitting thinking. It's starting off with. Hold on, I'm gonna kick it up here.
Why? Nope.
All right, turn the sound all the way down. Hold on. Let's watch it again.
Perfect.
Oh, perfect.
Maybe I just need a break. What if I could work somewhere above it all? Whoa. Hey, show me something inspiring.
Always look up.
Perfect.
That's actually a really good representation of you. That's actually what you would look like if you were animated. Like your cheeks are all kind of like
Yeah, I just
super happy and
What if
rosy
I could work somewhere
and
above
like
it all?
thoughtful.
Whoa. Hey, show me something inspiring.
Always look up.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep playing this. I'm gonna put on mute. What was the idea behind this one? You just wanted to do what were the prompts that led to this one?
So this one was I'm daydreaming. I because I have this like ideal place
Because
that I
you
would
sit
love
and
to be at.
daydream all day?
No.
I'm just kidding.
um, so like it's just like me daydreaming, and then the place I would like to be when I'm like a place that I imagine being in, if that makes sense. Like if I had the ability to, I would build something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would build something like that too. We need more futuristic buildings too, and cool stuff just to sit and do nothing with. I think that's what we need more of. It's really cool. So, like, is this like your dream? Walk me through this. Is this like one of your dream places that you wish it was that you sat upon up on where you could see out on the entire cityscape like that, or on the entire
Yep.
city? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
I do want to add one more thing before we transfer off this topic.
Yeah.
All of the pets I make, including I've also done AI cameos of my aunt's pets. All of those pets I have open to anyone to use. So if you want to make a cameo using my pets, feel free.
Okay, so I can go on there and I can make your cats and your dogs ninja fight.
Yes, you can.
Oh my gosh, I got to set this up. I can get it on my iPhone now. I have an iPhone around here somewhere. I'm going to put it on my iPhone, probably make it easier to mess with. I have it on my iPad mini right now. Put that bad boy in my iPad mini, make a character of me, get your cats and dogs to fight ninja style. I'll be the person in the background as the referee. You can be the person scared as if they're going to hurt themselves, and then we'll make the whole gang. We need all of the gang, the Mercury gang, to make these types of characters, and then we can make so much slop with it. It'd be so sloppy. It'd be a sloppy madness. So Trey, the question that I want to have before we get into some breaking news, I think this is really important. You started with you started doing this. Like, is it still fun doing it? It seems very gimmicky. And that's was my biggest problem from the start was how long and how often are people going to continue to do this and find interest in it, and will it eventually fall off? Because I haven't even gone back to it. Now again, I live a busy life, so it's very difficult for me. If I'm going to rest or relax, I'm probably not going to go and make a bunch of shitty AI slop. But you're still continuing to use it. Do you feel that this will continue to be something that you continue to do?
I do. It's a thing of um it's a whole thing with AI, like the creativity and stuff like that. I will never use this to make something that I'm going to use outside of the app. Or if I do, it'll be something like as a addition to my own content. Because this is for me just fun. It's just like creative outlet, like nothing actually real. So it's just like a game for me. And that's why it's continued to be fun for me.
Yeah, also Trey and I was just playing around. I want to talk about this new layout that StreamYard launched finally that I think is really great. But I just tried to push you up as the main thing. And like unless you're like really adamant about your camera angle, it like cut off half of your face when I pushed you into the vertical. But back to the AI. That's one of the things that, I think it's from a fun standpoint. I think it's also being utilized to maybe kind of find a way to, it's kind of being a way for people to create, to kind of train AI. So they're essentially utilizing us train AI in more and more capacity by constantly doing these types of prompts, constantly trying it to make things. And then eventually, I think it will continue to get better. And we're going to continue to have it where people are utilizing AI to get artwork to then go and push out into the marketplace, which I find that that's going to have a very difficult time in the artist communities. When we were at the Phoenix Zoo and I was talking to Jay Photos, he was even mentioning that even the artists that he teaches at the University of Phoenix, I think it is, that they're not, or Phoenix College, they're not really even interested in utilizing AI to help create their art. They want to do it because they are the artists. So I don't think that we're going to find a lot of people, unless they're actively trying to make AI art as a form of expression from them being an artist. You know, like you might find an artist that does paintings or oil painting or drawing, and then like, okay, I'm going to make a piece. I'm going to spend some time on AI and prompting, and I'm going to make a collection that's me just making this AI art. But I think that people that are adamant about artwork and what their art is doing, that they won't actually utilize the artificial intelligence in the way that we think might be people might be doing. Because you even made a comment last night that you would rather make something with Affinity than utilize Canva's AI art tools to create the AI art or graphics.
Yeah, I'm actually getting ready to start a Substack on this. Jeremy, you're pretty heavy into music, right?
I mean, I'm pretty heavy into the music that I like, but yes.
Well, you also are into like music, you like making music
Oh
and
yes,
music
yes. I love
history and
making
stuff
music,
like that.
writing music, studying music. That's probably my, if we were to take passions, that's my number one passion, and then entertainment like this. Those would probably be my two number one passions. Yes.
Okay, if you try, and there are like AI platforms that make AI music. Um, if you try to use one of those, it would be very unlikely, no matter how many generations you went through, that you would find one that you were entirely happy with. Because when you understand the underpinnings and the stuff, you get this idea in your head of how you want it to be, and AI can't do that. Even with the most intensive prompt, AI can't do that. So anyone who actually cares about what they're doing and wants it to be a certain way, AI is never going to do that.
Yeah. When I was younger, making music was more about maybe making money, right? Because I was like, oh, I can become a musician and make money. And I should have continued to do that because I would have found out that I could probably make money being a musician. But point being is I didn't. But point is that but when you look at it from an art perspective, I would have no interest in unless I was making something that was specifically for the purpose of the project being AI based. I would have no interest in using AI for making music. Not even from backing ground. I would rather go and find someone to play bongos than add in bongos of AI. Or I would even make, not that I'm making songs with bongos, but if I were, I would even utilize the fake bongos that are on, the software. Now that might use AI, but it's not from like a prompting perspective of sitting down with an AI app and prompting it and then it making music. And I think that that's what we're going to find from a lot of the people that are real artists. However, I think like the corporations that are focused on making money from the music, I find that they might find ways to pay people just to make AI music that's catchy for like, top radio spins or like repetitive spins on Spotify that's super catchy, and then they can get their pricing down. But I think from an artist perspective, you won't see it.
Right. Well, and I'm going to push back a little bit on that because unless they don't care at all, I don't think that companies are going to find that very helpful because they're not going to. Well, if they don't care at all, they're going to do it, and that's going to be just a tragedy. And it happens for sure. But like the people
Yeah,
who are
there are
actually
lots of
like,
things that companies do because they don't give a shit at all. So I think that we'll find that in a few places.
yeah, you're
But
probably right.
Thank you for sharing your AI slop. If you have AI slop out there, send it to support@ageofradio.com or DM me at ageofjeremy or DM us at ageofradio. And what I mean by AI slop is just images made from AI utilizing Sora. by OpenAI or utilizing Vibe by Meta. We want to see what you're creating with AI so we can make fun of it. So if you want to be made fun of, send it on into us, and Trey and I will make fun of it together, and we'll try to get Chuck on here to make fun of it as well. So send your AI slop to support@ageofradio.com. December 11th, the Game Awards happen again. What I like to call the night of trailers. So Trey and I last year did a watch party in our Discord for the Game Awards, and it was literally just trailers. I think we saw one award being announced, and then you just saw a scrolling of awards that were just going up the screen that they had announced throughout the night at some point in time while we were watching trailers. But the Game Awards nominations came out. It's going to be streaming December 11th. Now, Trey, is this accurate? It's streaming on Prime Video? It's not going to be on YouTube like it was last year?
I did not catch that. I think.
Or do you know?
I think it might be. I think it might be both. I don't know
Okay.
for sure. I gotta check it now.
Oh, nope, I lied to you. It says the event which airs live on YouTube and Twitch. So I'm confused why Prime Video is up here. Is maybe Prime Video a top sponsor?
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. That's so weird. Okay, so it has the Game Awards December 11th, and then we come down here, and then it says live on YouTube and Twitch on December 11th. It'll honor the year's best and brightest, and we know the games vying for the top honor. So, Trey, we called some of these. We said Hollow Knight Silksong 100% was going to be up for Game of the Year. So we're going to start with Game of the Year. We have Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Death Stranding, that's what we were talking about last night. Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, Donkey Kong Bonanza, which you're playing right now, and I have in an unopened case, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silksong, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So, Trey, we don't have your thing in here. We need Trey's. What are we calling it? What's the segment
forgot
called?
prediction time.
Trey's predictions. We got to write these bad boys down. All right. Well, instead of Trey's prediction, because we didn't do amazing yet, we'll throw up amazing. It's amazing time for Trey's video game predictions for December 11th. Video games of the year. All right. Game of the year. Who do you think it's going to go to? Trey.
Okay,
Wait, we have to write this down. Let me see. Oh, we got to write it down somewhere. I don't have any paper. Hold on, I have a sticky note over here around by my coffee. And I bought a bunch of pins. Dustin, I don't know where any of my pins are. The pins that I just spent tons and tons of money on. All right, so I got a pin. These are Trey's Game of the Year. Trey prediction. Trey, do you have that GIF somewhere that you can download real fast?
I would
No,
have
you
to
gotta
go
send
on.
it to me.
Yeah, I would have to go on Canva and do it, and I don't have any of my stuff here. I'm sorry.
No, we'll blame Dustin. Dustin, this is your fault. And because it's your fault, everybody's going to have to see you getting fed by me right now. That's me feeding Dustin. I want everybody to look at that beautiful bald head of Dustin. And the next time we're at a live event, we're going to have a crayon, and you're going to get to draw on his head. I wouldn't do that. That'd be horrible, horrible. I mean, I'm just playing around. But it is Trey's prediction, amazing prediction time. All right, Game of the Year. What do you think is going to win?
Okay, so I've been hearing a lot of people say it's Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
What?
I'm going to say it's Death Stranding 2.
Okay, hold on. I got to get Trey's prediction here. Jessica, are you in the comments? Jinx, are you in the comments? I don't know what you're doing. You said you were going to be here. Actually, I don't know if she said she was going to be here. I'm just making that up. Jinx, you tell me what your prediction is. I'm putting it down on my little sticky note because we have no process in place for this whatsoever, and we're making it up on the fly like everything else that we do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Trey's prediction for GOY. I'm going to forget what GOY means, but it means Game of the Year. You're going with Death Stranding 2?
Yeah.
Death Stranding 2. All right. I'm going to still stick with Hollow Knight. I think Hollow Knight's going to win. Okay.
Hollow Knight's a good guess too.
Yeah, I think it's because these things are popularity contests, and I think Hollow Knight's the most the most awaited for popular one. That's why I think it's going to be Hollow Knight. With that being said, go ahead, Trey.
I could definitely see that. The reason I said Death Stranding is because everybody is saying Expedition 33.
Yeah.
But But there's also the money throwing around thing that everybody alleges. So
Yeah, because this is all a scam. It's a giant Game of the Year scam, like every other award ceremony. But that's not true because our friend Megaran, I call him our friend even though we've talked to him one time. Our friend and best friend Megaran, who is our homie, of someone we hang out with. We don't hang out with him. He's up for Grammy Children's Album of the Year. So I'm going to say that it's not a scam as it relates to him. Rest of the time, these things are 100% scams. All right, best game direction. Trey, what the hell does that mean?
I think like a director for movies is my guess.
All right. Okay. Is that because these are sequels maybe? But Split Fiction's not a sequel. Is it?
No, I think it means like not game of the year, but like the best development of a game or something like that. Like the direction that the game takes.
All right, we're going to only do a couple of these. All right, best narrative. Okay, this is instead Trey's prediction. Boop, 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 boop. I don't know what the boop, boop, booing. Amazing. We're using amazing instead of Trey's. Okay, Trey's prediction for best game direction. Claire Obscura Expedition 33. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Ghost of Yotei. Hades 2 and Split Fiction.
Ghost of Yotei is my guess.
Oh my god, that's what my guess is. I love that game so much. In fact, Trey, after the show, I'm going to go play that right now because I don't get to play it enough of it. Okay, Ghost of Yotei, writing down on our sticky. I'm not going to know any of these. Best game direction. All right. We're going to do best narrative and best art direction. We're not going to do all of these. Oh, well, let's see. What are some other ones? What should we do?
Let's do indie game if you can find it.
Okay, best independent game. All right. Everybody, Trey's prediction. I don't know what I was going to say. It's prediction time. Trey's prediction is going, because we don't have a GIF. It's amazing right now if you're just tuning in. Trey's prediction for best independent game. We have Absalom, Ball and Pit, Blueprints, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silksong.
Okay. This one I'm gonna go with the crowd with, and I'm gonna go Expedition 33.
Yeah. I feel like if I go Expedition 33 with this one though, it means that Expedition 33 is also gonna win Game of the Year. Because that's whoever, if one of these is in Game of the Year, that's the one that's gonna win. If one of these that's in Game of the Year wins Game of the Year, that's the one that's gonna win the best independent game. But best independent game. No one's going to be able to read these notes whatsoever. This makes no sense at all, what's happening on. This is kind of almost useless because I'm going to lose this. All right, what's another one that you want to do? We'll do one more. One more Trey's prediction with our amazing GIF.
I don't know. I'll let you. I don't know what other ones are.
Best action game, best action adventure game. Oh, let's do best role-playing game because I love role-playing games. All right. Hold on, best role-playing game.
Best RPG.
Best RPG. We have Avowed. We have Expedition 33. We have Deliverance 2. We have Monster Hunter Wilds. Monster Hunter Wilds is fun, but there's no way in hell Monster Hunter Wilds is winning. And we have The Outer Worlds 2. All right. Trey's prediction. And Trey's going with?
I will say, for something different, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. All right. I'm going with. I'm going to go with Expedition 33 on this one again.
Yeah,
Expedition 33 is probably going to clean the house on these bad boys. But I don't know. All right, Trey. So we have this article in our Discord right now. Yes?
Yes, all of these articles are in the Discord.
All right, if you guys want to go through, there's all of these here: best fighting game, best family game, best sports racing game, best multiplayer, best ongoing game, best community support, and make sure to check out the Game Awards on December 11th. Come and hang out with Trey and myself. We'll be doing a watch party in our Discord because we love watching all of the trailers and none of the awards whatsoever is going to be happening during this, in my opinion, but that is what it is. All right, moving on to some other amazing, oh, I said amazing, I really need to set up that stream deck so I can say amazing much better, would be my guess. This is amazing news. Everything your podcast needs all in one place. That's not what the news is. That's at Age of Radio. Audio is still number one for podcast. I'm really excited about that because I love podcasting. What I don't love is how we have to share the screen and I can't bounce between them like I used to. So it makes this all fumble effy. That's why Dustin needs to be on here every week to change these for me. All right, audio is still the number one way to consume podcasts, despite the chatter about video. That's one of the findings of the latest Cumulus Media and Signal Hill Insights podcast download report published yesterday. Over half of podcast consumers on YouTube also listen to the same podcast on another platform. Only 8% just watch podcasts, a number that hasn't changed since 2022. You can download the report in full and watch the webinar as of last Thursday, which would have been yesterday. So Trey, I guess my question is, I mean, people are still going to listen to audio. Like, audio is still always going to, you think at some point video will be the number one way in which people listen to content, or do you think that there's always going to be this audio effect through podcasting apps?
So when it comes to podcasts specifically, I think that audio is always going to be on top, if only because audio is something that you can just have on in the background.
Yep. That's what I think too. I mean, one of the things that I've recently been getting more into is Audible, just from like informational based stuff that I just want to be able to listen to maybe while I'm working. I know that Dustin and I were talking about some leadership books the other day, and he got all those on Audible or an audio format so that he could listen to them while he was, working, so I think that that's one of the things that I love about audio is that you can have it in a place where it can be background or where you can listen to it because you enjoy it. But then you can also listen to it intently to learn and understand something. And so what I'm also curious to find is, I know in the report they said that it was people watching on YouTube, but then listening, 8% said they listened somewhere else. But if you have a YouTube subscription, like the paid subscription for YouTube, you should be able to have the video on, listen to the video rather than watching it, which is very similar to listening to an audio podcast, right? Which is one of the things that I like about having YouTube Prime or Plus or whatever the hell they call it, their subscription service, because I can black out my phone, the audio still plays, and then I can just listen to whatever's happening on YouTube, or I can go listen to the podcast on the YouTube Music app. But I agree with you. All right, moving on. One of the things that I think is really exciting, let's give a big hooray for Acast. It makes noise on the NASDAQ Stockholm. Acast started trading on NASDAQ Stockholm. They are a Swedish-based podcasting company, very popular one, celebrating Marianne Bostrom, Chief People Officer, Lizzie Polote, Chief Communications and Brand Officer, Emily Velate, CFO Greg Glindley. The shares are currently down as of this article about 1.75%, but year on year, a cash share price has more than doubled, up 105 percent. So I think this is great. The reason why I wanted to talk a little bit about it, not just because you gave it to me to look at, but Joey asked me the other day, he said, is podcast coming back? And podcasts have been around since the early 2000s, obviously with the RSS feed being created, being distributed through audio. And then it got really popular again when we started Age of Radio back in 2017, back in 2018. And then it kind of dipped a little bit. And then you had a bunch of acquisitions and stuff into the 20s, dipped down again. And now everything's all about podcasting. So I do think it is going through these cycles. But one of the things that happens during these cycles is a lot of these companies go public. Now, the other part about this is they continue to go more and more public on more and more exchanges. It could also mean that we're getting into a bubble of podcasting. Not that this is, that it's going to be to the extent of like a big market crash bubble. But do you think that podcasting is getting overinflated right now, Trey? And yeah, let me start with that. Do you think podcasting is getting overinflated, or do you think it's just growing?
I think it's just growing, but it's hard to tell. I think at some point, like there are more and more people building podcasts um because like it's one of the like it's not easy, but it's easy to put that stuff out. Um, but like in the consumption thing, I think that it is going to continue to get stronger. Um, but if it like, I think we might end up in an overinflated state just on the number of podcasts that are out there, and I think that might start to take a dive after a while.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get to the point where most people are going to put out a podcast and no one's going to listen to it. You have to hustle to get your podcast seen and shown, right? And there's all kinds of great. Like Acast is a great company. I think Acast is a fantastic company. There's the app that they have. They have advertising opportunities. There's tons of shows that they specifically have as well that are on their network. So I think that from what they're trying to do, they're really great.
Absolutely.
So I think that that's fantastic. But again, you're always going to go through these cycles where a bunch of money is going into one place because there's going to be a lot of return. Then what's going to happen is people are going to get so excited because they get so emotional about money. They think the money's going to last forever. Then they stop getting the money, and then a lot of these things start to go down, or then you start to see consolidation. I mean, over the last from 2017 till now, we've seen the consolidation of all kinds of different podcast companies. Megaphone was bought out by Spotify. We had iHeartRadio bought Stitcher, if I'm not mistaken. And so we have, this large consolidation of audio platforms into larger and large corporations. But I'm glad to see that Acast did that. You should check out some of the Acast podcasts. We want to see everybody that's involved with podcasting, represented. Give me 1 second here. I wish there was an easy way to maneuver through sharing screens through this. One thing that I didn't mention that I want to mention right now real quick. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, StreamYard actually created a dual viewing system. So I'm not Streamcast, StreamYard. So for example, you could watch this as a landscape, or you could watch this vertically now, which I think is amazing that StreamYard implemented this. The only problem is like I said, when I pushed Trey to the front, if he's not paying attention to the vertical layout, like he has to reposition himself, because then like if I push Trey there right now, I think you're perfectly centered. But if you go to the left or right, you're completely cut off. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very humorous. But I think this is great because you can pick this layout for any of the platforms that it goes to now. And what's really cool about it is it actually gives you a recommendation. So that's very beneficial of like what layout to do for the recommendation.
Absolutely. That is very nice.
Comedy dominates podcast budgets, but isn't the safe bet advertisers think. Following the release of Oxford Road, which is a study that we looked at a couple weeks ago, there's a new tool to measure which podcasts have the greatest return on investment. The audio ad agency is focusing on one of the most used genres among brands, comedy. It has released a ranking of the shows that it calculates generate the biggest sales results using what they call Orbit, which is Oxford's Road benchmark intelligence tool. Oxford says that All Things Comedy Network series Monday Morning Podcast, featuring host Bill Burr's rants about relationship advice, sports, and the Illuminati, did better than all the rest. Comedian Dan Soder's indie podcasts, Soder, ranked second, followed by iHeart podcast series Emergency Intercom. The rankings are based on Oxford Road's analysis of $1.6 billion in verified podcast spending across hundreds of advertisers during a 12-month period. Orbit normalizes performance across different advertiser goals. It says that allows for a direct comparison across different campaign types and advertiser objectives. The normalized goal-based data allows Oxford to make conclusions it says were impossible in the past. this is what happened when real companies spent real money. And so if you remember when we looked at this, Trey, I don't know if I don't think it was the week that it was last week, maybe it was the week before, but it found out that the more smaller, more niche independent podcasts were the ones that had a much larger return on investment than maybe like putting all of your money into Joe Rogan. And that seems to be very true because like the smaller the podcast gets, the people that are following it are more trustworthy of the person that's presenting the content. So it therefore reasons that those people would be more interested in buying what it is that that person's selling, right? When we look at like the Good Morning Crypto podcast, which has now moved to the Good Evening Crypto show on YouTube and no longer an audio podcast on the Age of Radio Podcast Network. But when we looked at that, when we look at that show, they do have a higher return on selling our products like Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. Not only is that, you know, a crypto show and a crypto tracking app, but they're more likely to listen to what the hosts are saying. Or if we, you know, another partnership, that we've been working on to make sure that there's some proper login credentials availability from one of the exchanges, Uphold, which is just released on our Merlin tracking app. You can now just use your username and password to sign into your Uphold to link it into Merlin. When you look at that, they're more likely to go and do their exchange trades on Uphold, because if that's where they're doing it from the Good Morning Crypto podcast, they share that, they trust them, and they go and specifically do that. So, I mean, it makes more sense. And that's one of the things when you said earlier, yeah, we're going to get a bunch of podcasts. But what's going to happen is if those people that have a nice niche and they can get it in front of the people, if you have 100 people that follow you regularly and you offer them products and then they buy, you can make a sustainable business from reaching out to them as long as you're continuing to work to grow your business and getting it in the right niche. Trey, do you have any thoughts on that?
Nope, not really.
Fantastic. I did a lot of talking on that, so I don't know what you would have added to it because I just kept talking. So I appreciate you. It's always good to have you on the show, so I have someone to talk to. All right. One more podcasting data report, global podcast markets. Actually, let me share it because I can't just move it over. The other problem is you have to stop the screen for it, and then you have to reshare it. And I thought that maybe I could share all of them at once, but it won't let me. Global podcast market forecast to jump tenfold by 2034. I'm really excited about this. The global market for podcast, what was that, 2034? My God, so far away. Trey, you'll be 42 by then. The global market,
true.
I'll be in my 50s. My gosh. No, 30, yeah, 50, yeah, well, in my 50s, 52. Man, Trey, you're getting old. The global market for podcasts is set for explosive expansion, according to a report from Market US that projects the sector will grow from roughly $2.92 billion in 2024 to $30.4 billion by 2024 to 2034. The 10-year outlook reflects a compound annual growth rate of 26.4%, driven by rising listener demands for customized audio experiences and rapid improvements in AI-powered recommendation technology. And if we look here, we see content creation in the dark green, we see dynamic ad insertion, we see creator tools and others. So not only do I think that this supports what I'm thinking is that we're going to go into a large amount of money going into podcasts, because we're seeing this trend, right? So you are going to probably see an inflated marketplace of technology and podcasts that are going into it. And so my recommendation is, and I'll turn it over to Trey, if you really are passionate about podcasting and you want, just keep doing the podcasting show. This will be an opportunity for you to get more listeners and more users. And if you can make it past when this actual bubble starts to kind of like pull back, or the marketplace starts to pull back on this, you'll put yourself in a great position, because one of the things that I've learned in business, it's not always who is first. It's not always who is better. It's whoever can last the longest. Whoever stays in the longest will sometimes come out as one of the key players in the space. Trey, what are your thoughts on this growing marketplace of podcasts and podcast related products for the next 10 years?
I think it makes a ton of sense. I mean, like, people wanting more like unique experiences when it comes to podcasting, that's always going to be a thing. And then like there are as there are more and more shows, there are then more and more podcasts that can talk about those shows.
Yeah,
Like I keep saying, I listen to the Gryffindor and like Aragon and Back Again and stuff. I know they're literally just books or shows about the books I like. So I think this is very likely.
absolutely. I think so too. I'm going to test something. I'm going to see what happens when I just close this tab that's sharing.
Okie doke.
I'm just going to see what happens. It just pops us back. That might be a better way to close it out. And then you can just put to the other one. Anyways, if you're on air with us, that's the great thing about following us. You get to figure out exactly how we're doing stuff as we're doing it in the moment because we discuss it on air. If you're tuning in, my name's Jeremy. I'm the host of Age Radio Mercury. This is Creator Trey at Creator Trey. You're watching Mercury, your home for podcasting and other pop culture news. This is a show from Age of Radio. Make sure that you check out all of the podcasts on the Age of Radio podcast network at ageofradio.com. If you're interested in joining our podcast network, reach out to us at support@ageofradio.com. Set up a call with me. We'll talk to you about all of the great benefits of joining the Age of Radio podcast network. We have over 100 podcasts with some of the top podcasts and shows and movies, such as everything I learned from movies. We have What Were They Thinking? We have Home Video Hustle. We have Married at First Sight Virgin. We also have motivational podcasts like the CJV podcast, which started it all. My podcast, Age of Jeremy's on there as well. Creator Trey's podcast, Maker's Remarks, is on there as well. There is something for everyone, so check them all out at ageofradio.com. But if you end up joining the podcast network, we help distribute your podcast, we help grow your podcast, and we work to help you monetize your podcast. So again, check us out at support@ageofradio.com. We also have a Facebook community. You can check the Facebook community out at Addicted to Podcasting. If you love podcasting, if you have a podcast that's not on the Age of Radio podcast network and you want to share it, head on over and share it there as well. And Creator Trey runs our Discord. I'm going to kick it over to Creator Trey. What do you have going on in Discord this month?
Okay. So not a lot going on this one. I think we still have our gaming night planned for I think the week after next week or the week after next.
My gosh.
Probably will be the week after next because next week is Thanksgiving unless we want to do something on that Friday.
I don't know. I'm really hungry. So probably not.
Fair enough. And then next month though, we are doing a watch party of the game event. So come and watch trailers with us.
Come and watch trailers with us because you will not see maybe one award. You might see one award being presented, but you will not see a lot. It's mainly going to be trailers.
And sometimes they're
Trey,
fun
are there any
video
trailers
games
you're looking forward to?
Maybe Wolverine, the Insomniac game.
That'll be sick. I just dated myself by saying sick. I'm a millennial. That's what millennials say is sick. All right, Trey, what else is going on?
I think that next month we're going to be returning to the Anime Roundtable. Assuming it doesn't conflict with the gaming event thing, I need to check what day that is still. But I think that's about it. Fun stuff, fun changes are coming. They're just taking a little while. So,
absolutely. Thank you so much, Trey. And that's because you decided to come and stay like 9 weeks in Arizona, and we can't get anything else done. I'm just kidding. Last week, we got the first proper trailer for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, but it seems Nintendo has more movie teasers ready to go for this week. November 17th, they shared on the Nintendo Today app and on social media. You got a first glimpse of the live-action adaptation of The Legend of Zelda, which just started filming in New Zealand. You can take a look at Link and Zelda below. Are these famous people? This image showed Link played by Benjamin Evan Ainsworth. Do you know who that is?
I don't.
Me neither. Zelda played by Bo Bragason. If you know who these people are in the comments, please let us know because apparently me and Trey are not up with the youth times of what's going on. They're in a green countryside, presumably somewhere in Hyrule. On social media, the images are accompanied by a message from Zelda creator Shigeru Miyamoto, We know this because he starts the message by saying, "This is Miyamoto." The full statement as follows: "This is Miyamoto. Filming is underway for the live-action film of The Legend of Zelda in a lush, natural setting with Bo Bragason-san, who will play Zelda, and Benjamin Evans Ainsworth-san, who will play Link. Filming is on track for the film release on May 7th, 2027. It will take a while until the release, so we would be grateful if you wait patiently and look forward to it." So, Trey, do you have high hopes for this Zelda movie?
It will be definitely interesting. I will be very curious because those games are like very, very, very broad. Although I've
That's
got
what I was just
something
gonna
fun.
say. Like, they're super broad. Like, what's the storyline gonna be? And he's obviously hanging out with Zelda there, so she's obviously not starting in like a castle where Link can go and get her, right? Because it doesn't
Right.
Ganon usually has her in some capacity. I mean, I haven't played like, I don't know, 30 Zelda games, so I could be wrong on a lot of that. But based off of the ones that I grew up with, and into the Nintendo 64 era, uh, that seems to be kind of the case. Isn't there somewhere you actually play Zelda as Zelda?
There's one that you play as Zelda. I can't remember the name of it at the moment.
Trey,
Something of wisdom.
weren't you Tears of Wisdom or Tears of something? Weren't you looking forward to one of the Zeldas being released on the Switch too? Like not a new one, but like a re-release or something?
No, I played re-release Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, that's what the
Echoes
Tears
of
is.
Wisdom. Yeah, Echoes of Wisdom is what the game was called.
Got it. Got it. Got it. I don't know. Did you like the Mario movie?
I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. I definitely like it. It's not what I expected, but it's not bad.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. This isn't going to be by Illumination though, so but the
No,
second Mario is going to be by it's Illumination that was the studio, the animation studio that did those, right?
yeah,
Do you remember? Yeah. They do that Steve Carell one, the Despicable guy, right? Is that Illumination?
yes, that's
Yeah,
Illumination.
Illumination's a pretty good. I like Illumination. I'm excited about that.
I have two fun things on this though.
Okay,
Uh,
share.
First off, this is being filmed in the same place as The Lord of the Rings.
Mm. Is there going to be a lot of walking in this movie too? Because all that happened in that fucking movie was. And again, that's not from. I know that you're been like, okay, Jeremy, you're a millennial. You like Kevin Smith and Clerks 2. I'm not getting that from Clerks 2. I thought that very intently before that was ever mentioned in Clerks 2, and I stand by it. That movies are born. They're worth watching one time. The people that watch them over and over, I will never understand that. But the internet can hate me for that, or anybody can hate me for that. I'll get over it.
Yeah, I don't know how much walking there will be. Although people are also talking about the NCU.
The what? The NCU? The Nintendo Cinematic Universe?
That's what they're saying. That's what people are all talking about because they think that since there's a
Is it a dog?
dog, yes,
Yeah, dogs are the best.
uh, they think that there's an opportunity for a Super Smash Brothers movie. Although, cartoon and live action mixing,
That
that's an iffy
that's
thing.
what I was gonna say. If they did all Illumination stuff, I could see them going in one area and making that a cinematic universe. And shout out to Mixter Flex a lot. What's up? Hope you're doing good. Love your content. If you guys don't follow Mixter Flex a lot, go follow Mr. Flex a lot. He does a lot of video game content. So if you like video games, he does a lot of great video game news, which we just come on here and give video game news. So I'm excited about that. So I could see it being if it was like Illumination, like doing a bunch of the animated stuff and then doing it. I think crossing it over would be a little weird. And where do you hear this stuff at, Trey?
TikTok.
Oh, TikTok. Yes. Do you do Reddit?
I do
I don't
not
do
do
Reddit
Reddit.
either. I don't do Reddit either. All right, we're gonna talk about some GPUs. Looks like AMD is powering every next gen console, and its GPUs are about to get even more expensive. So that's great. Fans of AMD's GPUs, which are typically more cost effective than those made by NVIDIA, might be in for some sticker shock in the near future. Team Red is likely to start raising the price of its good, and unfortunately, there's a chance this will affect more than just your graphics card. GPUs are the wave of the future because we need GPUs to not only do gaming, but we also need it to test our AI for the new overlords as they take over the world. Miss Flex a lot says, "What's good, Jeremy and Trey? Thank you, thank you. Hope all is well with you all. I'm doing great. Trey, are you doing amazing? I'm doing good.
I'm doing awesome.
If you guys know, you guys can also see what kind of stuff I'm looking at buying when I share these things on the screen. I was looking at getting one of these free writes. I really like the red one because I'm working on something that's going to have a lot of writing, and I like to zone out when I write. As I was talking to Amber when we did our Meet the Creator the other day, it's very sometimes the words escape me when I'm trying to get my ideas onto the page. So I like turning everything off and just focusing on writing. As reported by Video Cards, AMD has informed its partners of an impending price hike for its GPUs. Last month, the company reportedly adjusted prices for its corporate partners to reflect changes in the market, though it managed to save retail customers from the shift. This time around, however, retail prices are likely to get hit. The culprit? Well, if you've been paying attention to the price fluctuations of computer components, you may already know the cost of DRAM components, which provide the memory for computers and other electronics, is going up as the AI industry wolfs down the earth. And that's one of the things that not a lot of people have been talking about with AI, so that's what we're going to talk about, Trey. We're going to talk about all of this is happening because of AI and the use of the GPUs and the increased use of the GPUs to be able to test and run AI over and over, and then not to mention the power supply that goes along with it as well. So Trey, do you think that that AI is going to drive up the price of a lot of electronic components along with probably tariffs because some of this stuff is coming from across the seas?
I think it's very likely, especially because these companies are committing to more and more and more and more um, CPU space. So very likely.
Yeah, but do you think that too? And you may not have a huge take on it, but isn't the like what we've seen with electronic stuff over the years is usually when you come out with it, right? The price is pretty high. Then is the supply chain gets better, the technology gets better, the components get cheaper to make, so forth, and the price gets driven down. Do you think that will eventually happen with something like GPUs? Because this is going in all the computers. Microsoft, I think, just signed a deal with someone. I think it was NVIDIA, with GPUs processing for that. And it's almost going to feel like they're going to be able to charge whatever they want because we're going to need it because we're using them so much for everything that we're doing.
I think that maybe eventually, but right now we've got Project Blackwell. We've got another article that's about to be coming up later in the show. We've got all of this stuff that people are pledging and planning on building. So I don't see it going down anytime soon, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And then in this new article, it mentions something else, and I don't even know what the hell this is. You could probably know what it is more than me. I didn't have a chance to research the word, and apparently I'm not up with the GPU lingo enough to know what the fuck is going on. But apparently, there's now. Do you know what a TPU is?
Um, isn't that like a material?
I don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure
That's
that's
what
a
I was confused
material.
about. I was like, I want to talk about this because this is so interesting. Because the thing is, the GPU's processing is going up because we need it for everything. We're going to have freaking data centers that need to have data. We need the large language models to run. You can rent the GPU space. I was listening to a YouTube video as I was thinking about small language models and also doing research and testing large language models. And when we were when I was listening to this, they were saying that just to get a basic large language model to be going, you can rent the GPU space from, say, Azure or from some other, I don't know, cloud company, right? And you would rent their GPU space. And to test a large language model at the low level, it costs $150,000 of GPU space per year, or maybe that was in total to get the whole large language model to be working properly and to have it do it. I don't know enough about it to speak super intelligently about it. All I remember is the $150,000 renting it from Azure or from Amazon Web Services for the processing power. So we have a big power problem because we have to have these GPUs running. Then the GPUs, the more that you run them, the faster they're going to degrade. Then you have an up cost to keep them continuously going and upscaling them and upgrading them. And right now, NVIDIA is the biggest player in the GPU space. So to have AMD come in and start to do that, you're going to obviously see the price of AMD rise, but then that's just going to make all of our fucking electronics so freaking expensive. And in my mind, it's going to also make AI more expensive for us to use because they have to get the GPU processing power. And if that price is going up, then that burden's going to carry over into our subscriptions.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that, Trey? And then I'm going to talk about Project Suncatcher.
I don't really have like it's one of the things that like there are ways that AI companies can offset that we can't, unfortunately, like buying boatloads of the things and stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, it's an unfortunate state of affairs. There are going to be like ways to kind of build things down there. Apple builds in like to a lot of their stuff soldered GPUs, like it's part of the chip. So
Yeah.
that's not going to affect that part of the industry, but for like bigger computers and stuff like that, that's going to be a real problem pretty soon.
And one of those things is trying to figure out how to power the GPUs. And I heard this from Hard Forked. I learned about this, and then I went and started reading a little bit more about it. Oh, and this tells us what TPU meant. If I read this full article, I would have found out what TPU meant, and then I wouldn't have had to ask you, and then I could have done other research on it. Our Meet Project Suncatcher, a research moonshot to scale machine learning compute in space. So, artificial intelligence is a foundational technology that could help us tackle humanity's greatest challenges. So, I would love to have people on here that are very against AI and then to tell them AI's here to help us tackle humanity's greatest challenges and see what their responses are. Now, we're asking where we can go next to unlock its full potential. Today, we're announcing, and this is Google, Project Suncatcher is a new research moonshot to one day scale machine learning into space. Working backward, this potential future, we're exploring how Google, an interconnected network of solar power satellites equipped with our tensor processing unit AI chips, could harness the full power of the sun. This is inspired by other Google moonshots like autonomous vehicles. If people don't know, Google owns Waymo, and quantum computing. We've begun work on the foundational work needed, this is Google, to one day make this future possible. Google is excited that this is a growing area of exploration, and our initial research shared in their paper, which I encourage everyone to go read, this is on the Google blog, describes their approach to satellite constellation design, control, and communication, and also their initial learnings from radiation testing Google's TPUs. So are these these tensor processing units, are these like their own version of the processing units that NVIDIA's using?
No, I think this means like chips. Like
So
these
these are
are
the actual
entire.
chips.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are their AI specific chips. But then doesn't that have to run off of G? That's what I'm confused about. So, and I didn't read the full paper, so we're just gonna speculate on all this, and then all of us should go read the paper. But so solar energy is gonna hit something that's going to then power these tensor processing units, and then the tensor processing units are gonna be where the compute comes from for Gemini.
I suppose so. Yeah, that's my guess. That's my read of it.
Okay, so two questions for you, Trey, because again, we didn't do more research than just pulling up this article. So my question for you, though, Trey, is just from speculation. Last night, you didn't seem very confident in this idea. Tell me why you weren't confident in this idea when I was explaining it, and I explained it a little differently than this specifically. So from how I
So,
explained it, what didn't you like? And let's go from there.
so this is actually a lot more doable than I originally expected, because when the way I understood it is flipping server racks in space, massive flipping.
Well, okay, so in my defense, for not, I just want to throw this out there. In my defense, that's the way that I understood it from Hard Forked, which could have also been me half paying attention to. So I understand that. But from my understanding, the way that I understood it, that's what it was. That's the way that I thought about it. So you continue your thought now.
Okay, so this is a lot different because when you think of like GPUs, you think of the big old uh, NVIDIA things that you plug into a gaming PC. This is going to be something a little bit more simple with the GPU and the CPU all on one chip. It'll be like Apple's M chips that if
Yep.
you've ever seen, their boards are like tiny and sip power. And that's something that Google has been working on for phones and stuff as well. It's their Tensor is their chips that they have on their newer Pixel phones. It's very simple. So instead of like a bunch of massive boxes, you're talking about a rack of um, smartphone processors, essentially, or something maybe like souped up from that, that don't have to power a
Yep.
screen, don't have to power anything but just sending or processing and doing AI. So this is actually a lot, and it's still going to be a long shot because I don't know how much power these things need, but it's a lot more understandable now that I understand it's like a constellation. Although I'm still iffy. We have a lot of satellites already, man. A lot.
Yeah, but space is a really big place. So I think we're just gonna trash up the lower Earth orbit with a shit ton of satellites. Is what's gonna happen. And but I mean, like space is big. Like I get it that there's stuff, but there would have to be so much stuff in there for it to make some type of impact, right? I'm not wrong. Like
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
big, it's a lot of space. Like space is space. Like even in lower Earth orbit, that's a lot of area. And on a scale, these are tiny satellites, even though to us they're big satellites, but in a larger scale, they're smaller.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. It just I've heard, and they're probably building it so that if something does happen, they'll burn up in Earth's atmosphere or
Well,
something
my
like
thing,
that.
and
So
they mentioned this on Hard Forked, one of my things was who's going up there to fix it? Like this is physical hardware that at some point might need to actually be fixed. So then do you design it in a way? Do you design it in a way where you can control the satellite to come out of the orbit and then back down to space? Would that even be possible? Or back down to Earth?
yes, I think that would be possible. They have
Yeah,
their
see,
like
that's what I'm thinking. And this is obviously not going to be something that happens right away. This is going to take years and years for them to figure out. But I think the interesting part about this is, and what I did like about this, and why I encourage people to go and look at some of these blogs and white papers, is because we do have to be innovative in what's happening in the future. And I like to see that Google does have these moonshot projects still. I don't know if they still let their employees work a couple of hours a day or a week on their own projects and get paid for it for like their research and stuff. I'd imagine that they do. But seeing something like this, it makes me excited for what's going to be happening with technology. But I do think that we need also more innovation into preserving our Earth and making it livable for us for as long as we possibly can too. So I don't know if AI solves any of those problems. If AI can solve some of those problems, then we might need something like this to help power it, since AI is helping us solve humanity's greatest challenges, which I have no idea how AI is doing that as of yet. But that's my opinion.
yeah. Uh yeah, I think that's a really cool project.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I'm gonna try to read this whole white paper, and then maybe I would know what the fuck was going on before I just throw it at you and be like, "Hey, Trey, this is what we're talking about." You're like, Jeremy, that's nothing of what you said anyway whatsoever when we were talking about it last night. And in my defense, that's true. It was not exactly how I made it sound last night. All right. Moving right along
I
to our last article of the evening. Go ahead, Trey.
I was going to say I actually didn't blame you at all. I figured that I had just misunderstood.
No, it's always my fault. The Apothecary Diaries returns next year for season 3 and a surprise movie release after Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer's anime box office success. Trey, you've watched season 1 and 2 of Apothecary Diaries. Yay or nay? Should people watch them?
I If you like very slow, very methodical, and very interesting animes, maybe there's a lot of what's the word? A lot of like intrigue in them. You're going to love this. I have not watched season 2. I've only watched like part of season 1, but it's very good.
The Apothecary Diaries is officially returning for a 3rd season and surprisingly a new theatrical movie. As revealed during a second anniversary stream from Anime News Network, the first part of the Apothecary Diaries season 3 will launch in October 2026. The second part, or Kur in anime speak, is arriving in April 2027 as part of that year's spring slate. In between, fans will be treated to an Apothecary Diaries movie in December of 2026, featuring an original story pinned by series author Natsu Hyuga. I've heard great things about Apothecary Diaries. Alex, who tried to watch the first one, said it was kind of boring. Then it got better, and then the second season he said was really, really good. I've heard it's one of the best animes that's out there. But more importantly, Trey, what I want to ask you, more so than if you care about Apothecary Diaries, we're starting to see this trend that we're going to see movies. Like, not only was there the Demon Slayers movie, we got to see a little bit of that with what's the really popular Korean one that's an anime, but they're
Solo Leveling.
yeah, Solo Leveling. Now that wasn't a separate standalone movie. That was just they played all of season 1 and then did the first episode of 2 episodes of season 2 or something like that for the movie. But then we have the Chainsaw Man uh movie release. And so I'm curious, do you think that we're going to start to see more and more of this, because anime is like probably one of the number one mediums for entertainment right now in the United States?
I think we are going to see more of it. As much as I don't know, I don't know how I feel about it. It's more revenue for the studios, so like it's a good thing for
Yes,
them, I
because
guess.
Demon
It's
Slayer
just
was like the number one box selling hit, I think, for the entire year, something ridiculous.
yeah, it was crazy. So I do think, although it's just kind of an iffy thing of like how much of the story are they going to put into that? Like the entire finale of Demon Slayer is going to be movies now, so I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not.
Why are you again? Why? So yeah, so I want to touch base on that. Let's go deeper with that. Why do you think that that's not a good idea? Like, why would you not want them? Like, you, it doesn't seem like you want them to make the movies, and I want to know why.
It's not that I don't want them to make the movies. I just think that it's a little bit better to just do like the seasons and stuff like that. I like what they're doing with the Apothecary Diaries thing, where it's like a completely separate story. But like the movies thing, it's like kind of breaks things up a little bit and all of that stuff.
Did you watch
That's
the
just
Demon
my
Slayer
opinion.
movie? Did you go
I
with your
have
uncle?
not yet.
Weren't you going to go with your uncle or something? Wasn't that what was happening? And I was
Yes,
supposed to
I
go see
was.
it, and then me, you, and your uncle were going to get together and talk about it. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I haven't seen. I'm so far behind on my anime. Trey, what are you watching right now in anime world?
I haven't watched much lately. I got to get back onto
We are freaking slacking and consuming right now. Are all of us just working all the time? What's going on?
uh oh, I Doctor Stone is coming to its finale. It's so good. It's really, really good.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that's on my list. I have so much anime on my list. Maybe I shouldn't do anything tonight but watch anime. All right, Trey, closing thoughts, last calls to action, and where can people find you on social media?
All right. So closing thoughts. Watch.
Trey, I
We
don't
got
know
to
what
get.
happened. Your internet dropped. Did you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I did. Am I? I'm still here. Can you hear me? Can you not hear me?
Yep, you're good. Go. I can hear you.
Okay.
It's lagging, though.
Then I will make this short. Check out my Substack, creatortray.substack.com. You can find me on just about everywhere at Creator Tray. And yeah, these are always fun. That's all.
Absolutely, these are amazing, and apparently they're better with you, as you called me out saying last week.
That
was
is not
rough.
what I meant.
Trey, I'm playing around with you. Of course, I told you that it was rough. Want to say, give a shout out to Joey Galvez, 1984. Joey from the Geek Collective. Go check out the Geek Collective. Thank you so much, Mr. Flex, a lot for joining on here. I'm going to hit you up. Maybe you can come on Meet the Creator, the new segment that we have. We have a new segment with Mercury. We're working to have more creators on here along with our podcast hosts so you can learn more about the podcast that we have going. So I'm working with our support team, Rebecca, to kind of get those scheduled for us. She did a great job. Big shout out to Rebecca, who is helping us get those scheduled. She helped me get Amber scheduled for yesterday, and has really helped us increase the communication that we have from a support team. We will be at Fountain somewhere library December 7th. And by damn it to all heck, Trey, we're going to stream you in somehow in this one. For the F me, we weren't able to stream you into the Phoenix Zoo, but we're going to stream you there as well. So we have that coming up on December 6th. I might have said December 7th, but it is for the LibCon, Glendale LibCon. We're going to have 2 big spaces, myself, Geek Collective. Jinx is going to be there selling stuff as well. I don't know why Trey's laughing. There must be a lag. It must have been something that I said. But if you want to see a horrible, horrible website that I had, it's called ageofjeremy.com. I'm revamping it, re-pushing that website out because I have a lot of exciting stuff in store for the Age of Jeremy brand. But if you want to see a complete shit website, go to ageofjeremy.com right now. The entire backbone is gone. It's just a white page with blog posts. It's really funny. So let's go and hit that ageofjeremy.com website up, make fun of it. Send your making fun of it to support at ageofradio.com. Also send us your AI slop to support at ageofradio.com. Listen to my podcast, Age of Jeremy, wherever you get your podcast. And next Thursday, I will be having another conversations with Mario from, he goes by Link with Mario online. He is also one of the founders of Omni Boulevard, which is a customer relationship management and marketing system that not only I use in multiple of my businesses, but I have seen him grow this business, and I want to talk to him a little bit about what he has going on. That will be happening next Thursday at noon Arizona time. I think noon. Nope, 11 to 12:30 Arizona time, I think. But make sure that you check out Age of Jeremy on YouTube, and you can see when that goes live. That was a bunch of calls to action, everybody, but we have a lot of stuff in store. We have even more stuff in store for Mercury as well. So thank you guys for checking us out today, and we will be back next Friday as always. And as I always like to say, be thankful, grateful, and kind, and we'll talk with you soon. Bye.